Hey everybody, Independent Voter Thoughts, Part 11. I believe that in all thy getting, get an understanding. So I have been, over the last couple of years, just kicking back, taking in a lot of information because this whole Trumpism thing has got me really looking like what is going on. Trumpism, the whole MAGA thing. And I've come up with a very unscientific observation because I'm wondering, how do the people get lost in the MAGA thing and the Trumpism? How is it that some of us can see that this guy is so much of a crook and so much of a fraud, but others seem to just gravitate to him? And I think you have a couple different groups that have some distinctive differences, but they all flow together. And I'll do my best to articulate what I'm thinking. You got one group that believes in God, guns, and babies. To them, God, guns, and babies is a religion in itself. So they are the evangelical Christians. They are the Second Amendment believers. And I mean, just the Second Amendment to them may as well be one of the Ten Commandments. And they are the strict anti-abortionists. Pro-life, but I believe they have a very limited and mistaken view of what pro-life is. They may be pro-birth, but by the way they deal with people, they're definitely not pro-life. Now, that's my observation, my opinion. And those people oftentimes are not people of means. Okay, that's one group. Now, this is my observation. Another group are your evangelical church leaders and influencers, along with elected officials and think tank persons. Because some of these people who are working together are not elected officials, but they work with them and for them. So I think when it comes to the evangelical church leaders and influencers, elected officials, and those persons that work in cahoots with the conservative think tanks, I think they're in another group. And these are the group that know exactly who Donald Trump is, but to them, he's a useful idiot. Now, to that first group that I mentioned, the God, guns, and babies, I think a lot of those people are deceived. But the evangelical, church leaders, politicians, and the conservative think tank people, Trump is a useful idiot. They knew exactly who he was. Those were the ones who told you who he was in 2015, 2016 in the run-up to the election. But when they saw that he was popular with the people, they jumped onto the wave and rode it for their own gain. So when we see Project 2025, understand once again, that's not new. But they were looking for an opportunity, and he was the way in to try to get it done. Then you have another class of people, and this is the billionaire and very, very rich millionaire. When I say very, very rich millionaire, I'm talking about that $700-800-900 million persons in the $1 billion class. They're different, those three classes that I named, but they all work in cahoots. And I think they like Trump because he's very friendly to that class of people when it comes to deregulation, which allows them to run their corporations, and they don't have to be concerned about the environment. They're anti-union, so they're not necessarily going to pay people what they deserve to be paid, and deal with benefits the way they should be dealt with. And also, when you can get rid of all the EPA standards and all the Green Deal, you can be a big polluter, because being a big polluter is profitable. All right, and he allows them, because he comes from that class, so he allows them to keep more of their money. I'm not saying that those three classes are the only groups of people, but this is my observation, and they work together. That first class, I believe those are the ones who have really been deceived. And you got to think about something too now. There's one more class that I didn't mention. There is a class of these people, especially Southerners, who believe that the South will rise again. All right. These are the crazy ones talking about civil war. They are holding on to, and this is why they're part of those militias This is the reason why they believe in the Second Amendment. They're stocking up so that they can fight a quote unquote tyrannical government. But I would love to get into the head of a few of them and really understand what their definition of tyrannical is. So that bunch too, some of them are really deceived, and they don't know that if Project 2025 comes in, man, they are messed up. Trump ain't worried about them jokers, not one bit. He cares about their votes, and then he's going to do what he wants to do. I do not believe at all that if Trump is elected in 2024, that he has any plans at all at coming out of power in 2028. I believe that he wants to be a dictator. I believe he wants to be a king. And I don't think that he's going to do anything at all to come out of power. Remember what he did in 2020 when he lost. He was 81 million people fired him. It was a fair election. Even his administration said it was a fair election. Those who were in charge of making sure that it was fair, they said it was the most secure election that we've had yet. He didn't accept it because he did not want to leave power. I do believe if we give him another opportunity, he is really going to make America not great. I have never understood. Make America great again for who? For who? Anyway, these are just my observations and thoughts. Have a good one.